Hey everyone, welcome back to Ganai's Football News. Let's kick things off with some huge momentum heading into the World Cup. According to ESPN, the USMNT just dominated Senegal 3-2 in their first major World Cup tune-up, and the performance was way more convincing than the final scoreline might suggest. Manager Mauricio Pochettino is really starting to shape this team into something special, and his tactical blueprint is becoming much clearer as we head into the tournament. But here's the big story. Christian Pulisic, the AC Milan star, has finally ended his 5-month scoring drought in spectacular fashion. ESPN is reporting that Pulisic was absolutely the US's best player on the pitch, earning an 8 out of 10 rating, and he didn't just score, he also grabbed an assist. Pochettino was really happy with Pulisic's overall contribution, and the midfielder himself is hopeful that everyone can stop talking about his goal drought now that he's back on the scoresheet. This is huge for American soccer fans heading into the tournament. When your most talented attacking player is in form, that's when you have to start believing. Now let's shift gears to the Premier League, where Liverpool just made one of the most shocking managerial decisions we've seen in years. According to ESPN and BBC Sport, Liverpool has fired Arne Slot just 1 year after he led them back to the Premier League title. Yeah, you heard that right. The guy won the league with Liverpool, and they let him go. Slot himself released a statement saying he's leaving Liverpool exactly where it belongs, among Europe's elite. So what gives? According to The Athletic, Liverpool consistently backed Slot during his tenure, but the mood changed rapidly once the Premier League season wrapped up. Now the club is wasting no time replacing him. ESPN is reporting that Liverpool is set to open formal talks with Bournemouth's Andoni Iraola this week as they work to find Slot's successor. Iraola has done an impressive job at Bournemouth, but taking over at Anfield after winning the league is a massive ask. It's going to be fascinating to see how this unfolds. Let's talk World Cup squad announcements, because there's been some major news on that front. According to BBC Sport and ESPN, Mexico's Guillermo Ochoa is heading to his record 6th World Cup after being named in the 26-player roster announced over the weekend. That's absolutely incredible. Ochoa is one of the few players in football history who will have that kind of World Cup legacy. But it hasn't been all celebration in the squad announcement world. ESPN is reporting that Marcelo Bielsa has made some controversial decisions with the Uruguay squad, most notably omitting the legendary Luis Suarez from the 2026 World Cup roster. That's a massive call that's already dividing fans and pundits alike. Meanwhile, on the injury front, BBC Sport confirmed that Canada's Marcelo Flores suffered a ruptured ACL during the CONCACAF Champions Cup final against Toluca and will miss the tournament entirely. And Spanish winger Lamine Yamal had quite the scare. According to ESPN, he was genuinely frightened that a hamstring injury would keep him out of the World Cup. Thankfully, he recovered in time and will be available for selection. These squad decisions are setting the stage for what should be an unforgettable summer. Over in South America, Brazil is looking absolutely lethal as they prepare for the World Cup. According to ESPN, the Seleção absolutely demolished Panama 6-2 in their World Cup tune-up match in Rio de Janeiro on Sunday, with 6 different players getting on the scoresheet. That's the kind of attacking depth that makes teams really dangerous in tournament football. Brazil scored 4 of those goals in the second half, really putting the pedal to the metal once they got the chance. This performance suggests that Carlo Ancelotti's bid to restore Brazil to World Cup glory is off to a promising start. The legendary coach had to win over the Brazilian public and restore order from what had been a chaotic period. But if performances like this continue, the expectations will only grow higher. Brazil fans are going to be expecting nothing less than the trophy this summer. Now let's talk club football and the transfer window that's about to explode across Europe. Chelsea have an exciting new manager in Xabi Alonso, but according to ESPN, there are serious question marks scattered around the rest of their expensive squad. The Blues have invested heavily in recent years, but the squad assembly has been messy, and Alonso is going to have decisions to make about who stays and who goes. Is Enzo Fernandez the midfield engine they need? Can Cole Palmer be the central attacking threat? These are the kinds of conversations Chelsea will be having in the coming weeks. According to ESPN's transfer preview, Europe's biggest clubs are all preparing for what should be a massive transfer window in June and July. Real Madrid, Manchester City, Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain, they're all going to be active. And speaking of transfers, ESPN's Transfer Talk is reporting that Julian Alvarez is still pushing hard for a move to Barcelona from Atletico Madrid. His heart is clearly set on the Camp Nou, and Barcelona believe they can make it happen. It's shaping up to be a summer where fortunes could shift dramatically across the continent. Meanwhile, at Real Madrid, there was some drama brewing in the dressing room that caught everyone's attention. According to ESPN, midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni has spoken publicly for the first time about his bust-up with teammate Federico Valverde, and he's downplaying the situation significantly. Tchouameni says the incident was blown way out of proportion by the media and the general public, which is interesting because it suggests there was genuine tension between the two players. These kinds of stories are important to monitor at big clubs because they can become distracting if they're not handled properly. Real Madrid has enough on their plate without internal friction, especially with a World Cup coming up and the transfer window about to open. We'll keep an eye on this one to make sure it doesn't become a bigger issue. Over at Paris Saint-Germain, there's optimism that Luis Enrique will stick around despite having only 1 year left on his contract. According to The Athletic, the PSG hierarchy believes that Luis Enrique's genuine desire to achieve back-to-back Champions League titles is what will keep him at the Parc des Princes. The European champions just won the trophy, and Enrique has made it clear he wants to stay and build a dynasty. PSG's president seems confident they'll get the extension done, which would be huge for their ambitions. Having a world-class manager with that kind of vision and hunger is exactly what you need when you're trying to establish European dominance. If Enrique stays and PSG can address their needs in the transfer market, they could be the team to beat in Europe next season.